Yo, 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 welcome to the channel. So, it's true, I bought a Tesla. I've loved those vehicles for quite a while. I remember seeing a Tesla Roadster while I was on my honeymoon in Paris on the top of a double-decker bus, looking down and saying, "What is that?" So I looked it up, found out it was ran by batteries, thought it was the coolest thing ever. So you might not know from my channel content, but I've been a car guy for pretty much my whole life, and I thought it'd be cool today to go over my car history and the cars that I've owned in the past, sort of thing. So let's start with vehicle number one. The car that I was given when I was 17 years old was a 1986 Plymouth Turismo. This was my mom's winter car. She usually had summer cars and winter cars. She got rid of her coolest summer car before I turned 17. That was a Datsun 280Z, super wicked car. Anyway, enough about the Datsun. Back to the Plymouth. The Plymouth Turismo was kind of like almost like a Mustang fastback style copy, two-door coupe. Mine was silver with a red interior. That car was great. Got me around. You know, your first car is your freedoms. My second car was a Mazda 626 Turbo, and that was also a coupe. Super fun car. Absolutely love that one. Had a bit of trouble with it. Had a digital dash, so I wanted to see if I could get the numbers all the way up to the top, which I think I successfully did once. Not pleading guilty to anything here. Plus, that was a long time ago. My third car was a Ford Thunderbird coupe. And this is when I had a part-time job, had some money, put a stereo in it, put interior lighting in it, tinted the windows limo black, did a bunch of stupid things with pinstriping. I was every father's worst nightmare. As a matter of fact, sorry to my current father-in-law. So my next vehicle was one of my absolute favorites. I inherited a 1955 Ford F100 truck. Absolutely love this thing. Super, super powerful. It had a 390 big block engine in it with headers, great big carburetor on the top of it, huge air intake. This truck went fast. The only problem with it was it didn't stop very well. It had the original, well, I don't know if the original brakes, but it had hydraulic brakes in it, but there was no assist, there was no reservoir. It was basically straight to it. So you could lock the brakes up on the truck pretty easily. So eventually I just couldn't afford the upkeep on two vehicles anymore, and I had to get rid of it, and I, to this day, wish I never did. I wish it was still sitting in my garage, but that truck is living on the east coast of Canada somewhere. I actually sold it on eBay, believe it or not. Crazy. After that car, I got a Pontiac Grand Prix GTP Coupe. That was a super fun car. It had real neat headlights, like recessed headlights in the front of it, and scoops in the hood, and all kinds of body cladding, and you know, all the stuff that you would put on your import cars. So that guy was fun for a while, and it kind of died on me. So my dad gave me I don't even know the year, 1988 I think, Audi 5000 four-door sedan, and this thing was pretty awesome. It like floated around everywhere and had lots of power, and well, it eventually died too. So during that time period, I had actually purchased my wife a Honda Prelude. And this car was super awesome. This is when I started to fall in love with Hondas, and pretty much cars after this are going to be mostly Hondas. So this was a 86 Prelude, two-door coupe, super, super fun car to drive. Like, you basically sat on the road to drive the thing. But we had that for a little while, so we used it. And after the Audi realized it was too much money to fix, should have learned my lesson with that German car, by the way. But when I realized it was too much to fix, I ended up getting a 1999 Hyundai Accent, and I got it for a super, super silly price. Basically, a friend of my mom's was just saying like, oh, the dealer doesn't want to give me anything for it. I know it's worth more. I'll sell it to you for the low price the dealer offered me. So she was just kind of, I think, throwing egg in the face at the dealer, because when she went back and said she sold it for what he had offered it to her, he was pretty upset. So I got a great deal on a Hyundai Accent. Not a bad car, to be honest. Like, the Korean car is pretty good. It just, didn't have a lot of insulation, and you kind of heard everything. So that was my car for a little while, and then we had the Prelude with that car. And then after that, we got my wife a 1997 Honda Civic. So I was still young and did crazy things to cars when we got the Civic, and I remember tearing out the entire interior of the car and actually putting dynamite, which is a sound deadening kind of tar material, on the entire floor of the car, all the doors, everywhere. Ran all the wiring underneath the carpeting, put it all back together, and put a pretty crazy sound system in it. So again, still young then. Still had to have the subwoofer in the trunk. And she had that car for quite a while, actually. So I ended up getting a job where I got a gas card and was paid a car allowance. So I actually got a Acura Tsx. It was a 2006. And this was the first car that I ever had car payments on. So I wanted to be able to pay for the car for 5 years and own it for another 5. That was kind of my plan with the car, was 5 years car payments, 5 years no car payments. So that worked out pretty good. Kept the job for that long time as well. So lots of mileage. That's why I had finance versus actually leasing something. So lots of mileage was put on that vehicle, and finally the timing chain actually skipped, and it had 330,000 kilometers on it at this point. I got my 10 years out of it. I thought that car has been great to me. You could probably put the timing chain back and see if it would start. It might just fire right up, but that involved taking the entire engine apart to do, so I didn't want to put that investment in. So while I owned the Acura TSX, I was also given a company vehicle for a couple years. This was my first brand new vehicle ever. It was a Chevrolet Traverse, and I realized then that I am not an SUV guy. I don't know what everyone's attraction is to SUVs, but I like to be low to the ground, turn that on-ramp onto the highway and feel like I'm sticking to the ground and not gonna roll over. So that's just my experience. I know new SUVs and mid-sized ones don't do that. So while I had that Chevy Traverse, my wife took over driving the Acura TSX, and the Civic just kind of sat in the driveway. So we eventually had to sell it. And then the company decided they weren't going to do company vehicles anymore. So I had to take over the TSX again, and we decided to get a car that we could kind of outright purchase, and we kind of went Korean again. We went back to Kia. We got a 2010 Kia Soul. That thing was amazing. We used to joke, we call it the clown car, because we could go to IKEA and fill that thing to the ceiling, and it'd be amazing what you'd pull out of it. Well, it's basically a freezer box on wheels, right? I actually really like those cars, even the new ones. So the Kia Soul is also an option if you're thinking about getting a full electric car as well, especially the new ones, because the new ones are rumored to do like 400 kilometers. So as much as we love that Kia, we finally outgrew it when we found out my wife was pregnant with twins. So now that we had 3 children, it was time to look at the world of the minivan. So keeping with the Honda pattern, I found a Honda Odyssey, which we absolutely love. It's a great van, has power everything, tailgate, doors, all that kind of stuff. And if any of you out there have kids, I think that the biggest plus to a minivan is that sliding door, especially if you have them in those buckets and someone parks really close to you. Like, how do you get your kid in if you can't open your door all the way? Like, a minivan's for the win while you have little kids. SUVs for the win when those kids get older and can open the doors and get in themselves. The TSX, it died. I had to get something. I always wanted an all-wheel drive car, so I decided to get a used 4-year-old off lease Bmw X1, and there was a big attraction to it because it had low financing rates, 1.9. So the car had 60,000 kilometers on it, which fits in with most Canadian leases, about 15,000 kilometers a year. So okay. And I decided, all right, let's grab this car. It's all-wheel drive. It's got a hatchback, great color. Anyway, BMW X1, absolutely amazing driving experience. Like one of the nicest handling cars that I've ever had. But, should have learned from that Audi in the past. German cars are freaking ridiculously expensive to fix. So, grab a new one. While it's under warranty, drive it during the lease, and then hand it back in 4 years and grab another new one, because used German cars are very expensive. I know, I'm probably going to see it in the comments below, well, don't go to the dealer, you know, go back to go to your local mechanic, find a guy that can do it. I get it. I said, absolutely love the car, great driving experience. Super expensive to fix. I was starting to get a lot of payments come in for maintenance that I never had with my Acura. So I thought, okay, it's just time to get rid of this car. I don't want to deal with the maintenance anymore. So I was able to actually find a Tesla Model 3 at a dealer, which is really hard to do. 2019 had 2,200 kilometers on it. So pretty much brand new, but I still have never bought a brand new car. So even this Tesla's used. But great price, and they could take my trade-in. So that was my big attraction of this car, was they were going to take my Lemon, and I was going to get a brand new, basically, Tesla Model 3 without having to go the traditional way to a website, order it, put down $2,500, I think, and then put down another $7,500, and then finance your car. This was a much easier way to pick up a Tesla. Awesome dealer. If you want to PM me, I'll send you their information if you're in Canada. But they have all kinds of Teslas. So now that I have a Tesla, I'm definitely going to put a lot of Tesla things on the channel. One of my first videos is going to be how to prepare your garage for the arrival of your new Tesla. So if you want to see videos like that one, make sure you head down below and smash that subscribe button. So today's video is a little bit different, kind of like story time. If you liked it, head down below, hit that like button. And until next time, take it easy out there.
Pretty.